In this lesson, we look at the various authentication factors and how multi-factor authentication reduces access control risks. Before we look at the types of authentication, we need to review the purpose of authentication. Authentication requires a subject, which is a person or thing attempting to access a resource, to prove it is who it claims to be. The overall access control system then uses the authenticated entity to allow, limit, or deny access to one or more resources. Authentication factors fall under three types. Type 1, something you know. Type 2, something you have. And Type 3, something you are. Type 1 factors are the most common. Passwords and PINs are used by most organizations for user physical and digital access. Type 1 factors are also popular attack targets for cybercriminals. For example, many security incidents are caused by attackers cracking or phishing for passwords. Type 2 factors are things you carry. These include scannable smart cards and tokens that provide a one-time password. Another popular solution is use of an app on a cell phone that generates one-time passwords. The downside is that smart cards and one-time password generators can be lost or stolen. Type 3 factors are known as biometrics. We can use almost any physical characteristic as an authentication factor. The problem is that biometrics can be expensive. Cheaper solutions are usually susceptible to forgery. No single authentication factor is a reasonable and appropriate authentication method for all information resources. The most critical resources need stronger authentication. Further, we don't need to buy the most expensive authentication factors to achieve reasonable and appropriate access controls based on resource risk. In this example, passwords have a 30% chance of compromise. Biometrics have a 20% chance of compromise. For our highest categorized resources, this is likely too much risk. If we add two factors, we substantially reduce chance of compromise. We multiply the two probabilities associated with each factor to arrive at a much lower 6% probability of compromise. Finally, authentication can be moved to the cloud. This isn't really an authentication factor, but it is an important consideration for managing identity. Identity as a service involves moving some or all of an organization's identity and authentication management to the cloud. This can reduce the cost of managing the required infrastructure. It might also be more secure because of cloud service provider security efforts. IDAAS also enables easier access management across cloud services. However, IDAAS does not release the customer organization from access control responsibility. The organization is still responsible for managing role or attribute-based access controls. That's it for this lesson. If you have questions, don't hesitate to ask. And until next time, be careful what you click.